Good morning, or afternoon, or evening. I don't know what time it is where you're at right now, but whatever time it is for you, welcome to another one of my cartooning courses. I am Nate Fakes, and today I thought, you know what, it's chilly out, it's winter time. Again, depending when you're watching this, maybe it's summertime now, I don't know. But right now, as I film this, it's January, and it's cold outside. It's cold here in LA even, out there. And we're known for like these warm temperatures, but it's cool. And I know it's snowing like east, so I thought, you know what would be fun? I'm going to show you guys how to draw a snowman. I'm going to do a sketch, and then I'm going to ink, and then I'm going to color a snowman and show you how I do it. You can mix up any way you want, add your own little elements to it, but I'm going to show you how I draw a snowman. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do, and who doesn't like drawing a snowman, right? So if you know me, I use kind of the same tools every week. I'm going to go with my handy-dandy iPad Pro, my awesome Apple Pencil, which I don't know what I did with it on the desk here, but you need an Apple Pencil or any kind of pencil that would work for an iPad Pro. I wouldn't recommend a real one because that would probably ruin the thing. And I'm using my software that I love the most, which is called Procreate. It's a drawing software and illustration app that is awesome, and I think it's the best one out there right now. So, hey, let's get moving. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm inside Procreate right now. And again, if you don't have Procreate, now's the time to get it. It's an awesome software. I'll have a link for it on this video, but this is it right here. If you see this logo, you're in the right spot. But I'm going to go ahead and start with a blank canvas and get moving here on today's chilly snowman. And what we're going to start with is up here on the brushes area. I'm going to go get the technical pencil first. So it's just under sketching and technical pencil, and we're going to start with that just to pencil it in. I'm going to put the opacity at about 75 for that, and put the brush size at about 25, 24, it doesn't matter, just in that range. The way I usually start a good old-fashioned snowman is just with his nose. I'll this will seem kind of obvious, but a good old carrot nose, just the classic pointy carrot is all you really need. And I like to make it not like perfectly straight, but kind of mix it up. But with the sketch, that's all I'm going to do for now. Then we give them a round head like so, and I put in just a couple dots for the charcoal eyes. So they've got the top circle, which is one size, the bottom circle, which as you can see is not an actual circle, it's more of an oval, I'd say, for the mid layer, and then finally the bottom point, which is the big fat area down here. And I'm actually going to put some snow on the bottom and just a little background. I'm not going to do an entire background, but we'll leave it at that. We'll give the guy a scarf. Why not? Just like a little scarf here, and that's really easy to do. You just do a couple lines around the neck and then one coming down, and just a couple lines for the bottom part there too, and then some charcoal buttons as well. You know what's funny about snowmen though? My whole life, I don't think I've ever used charcoal in real life. Do people still use the charcoal? I don't know. It's like when you want charcoal, it's not really handy. You know what I mean? Who has charcoal lying around their house? I don't know. Maybe some people do, but still, anytime you draw a snowman, you envision charcoal. So I go ahead and run with it anyways with my illustrations. Next, I'm going to give him some branch hands, and these I like to be kind of creative with. I like to make the branches almost look like he's got fingers, you know what I mean? So just not just a boring stick, but something that indicates kind of fingerish type, whatever you want to call them, branches. We'll go with that. And do I want to give him a hat or not? Nah, I think I'll leave him at that. I'll give him a pipe, though. You don't see that too often either. How many kids have pipes lying around their house? Well, actually, there's probably quite a few. So we'll give him a little pipe and start with this for the sketching. So I started that. That was on layer 1. What I'm going to do now is go to adjustments up here, that little magic wand, hit opacity, and I'm going to bring this down to about oh, 36, 35%. That's fine. Just to make it a little bit more transparent. And then I'm going to go up here and make a new layer. I'm going to go to inking now, and I'm going to use my technical pen. I'm going to make sure the opacity is up to 100% on this, and then I'm going to do the brush size at about 25 again. And again, I'm on a new layer above the pencil sketching, so we're going to go ahead and start inking our snowman. Cool thing about Procreate, and I mention this all the time, the harder you press down, the thicker the lines get. You can adjust this a little bit in your settings. I'm not going to go over that now, but that's something to keep in mind, which is great because it feels like a real ink pen, and that's what I grew up with. And let's see. As you can see, I'm just going over him, and for the charcoal eyes, just you don't need to make them perfectly round. Make them look kind of charcoalish, I guess, which is, you know, basically a rock. So, yeah, they don't have to be perfectly round. That's for sure. With this, I'm going to do a little circle on the top, give them that. And now I'm just going over the top part real quick with inking. And again, I like to make it, see how it's kind of wavy? I'm not making it perfectly round and like smooth because it's snow. You never see snow that has like a perfect roundness to it. You know what I mean? It's all packed and it's really chunky. Is that a good word for it? So it's just not even, you know, it's not level. It doesn't have to be perfectly round, perfectly smooth. I make mine really uneven throughout, and I think it adds a really neat characteristic to it. Here with the buttons too, I'm just going to make kind of uneven. And as you can see, I just traced over the scarf too, and I didn't really do anything different than that. Just don't press hard on this part here. Just make them really light lines, loose. And now we're going to do the midsection of this guy. I'd call him Frosty, but I have a feeling the copyright is already taken on that. So we'll just call him Mr. Snow. Is that an original name? I like it. Mr. Snowman. Why not? All right. As you can see, I'm just doing the branches now. And with the branches, again, at the very end, I don't press down too hard with the pen because you want to make them really kind of light looking. And then I go into the bottom section here. And with the snowdrifts, I'm going to start by pressing down light. Then I'm going to press down harder on there just to give it some depth. And just to mix it up a little bit. And that is our snowman. I'm going to take off layer 1 now, so all you see is the ink. And I'm just going to add a couple of shady spots to it. Nothing too massive, just a few little elements to make it look like it's, you know, it's got some depth to it, and it's just not perfect. You see the little line work I've added to it and the shading? I think it just adds character to it and doesn't make it look like it's just perfectly round in the flat surface, you know. It's because it's not a flat surface, it's snow. I'm doing the same thing in the background. I add this little streaks in the back. Perfect. Let's go with that. Now what I'm going to do underneath layer 2, which is the inking layer, going back to layer 1, I'm going to add a new layer. So it's layer 3 and it's underneath layer 2, as you can see. And here is where I'm going to add in the coloring. I'm going to start with the background. And we're going to give it just a bluish background here. And we'll add to that, as you can see. You'll see soon. I'm going to create a new layer above that. This is layer 4. And this will actually be the snow. And yes, the screen is white already, obviously. But still, we don't want to make it just perfectly white. We're going to go with like a kind of a grayish blue. There we go. Because the snowman is going to be a little bit more white. So above layer 4 now, I'm doing a new layer. And I'm going to add this to it. What I'm doing, as you can see, I selected the S, I call it the S tool. I know it has a technical name, but I think S tool is just the easiest to explain. You can see it's highlighted in blue on the top of the screen there. And I'm just going through and tracing all the lines because it makes it so much easier to fill in. Once you trace the area you want to be the same color, and as you can see, I'm just going through the entire snowman here, and then into the snow itself, and then over here. All right, I'm going to choose my color. I'm going to make them just kind of just right below white. So it's not just perfectly white, but just a little bit below that. And I'm going to drag this over, drop it, and there you have it. You have your snowman. I'm going to start a new layer then above layer 5. And I'm going to go into an orangish color for the nose. Let's go with kind of, I'm going to try this. Let's give it a shot. Nah, it's a little too, I'm going to go a little bit brighter with that. There we go. Perfectly. It's not too bright. With the colors, what you want to do is keep them kind of in the same palette range. You don't want to have anything like too extravagantly bright and shiny on something that's not bright and shiny, which is this whole picture, or else it's really going to look kind of awkward. I always recommend learning colors because they all work together, and if you have them kind of mismatched, whoops, I totally messed that up. It'll look funny. Your eyes will, anyone that views it, their eyes will go in different directions, and they'll become strained, and they may have to go to an eye doctor because looking at it is so weird. And medical bills pile up, and it gets crazy like that. See how it just snowballs? Get it? Snowballs? Drawing a snowman? Okay. There's no joke there. Sorry. All right. Now, I'm going to pick his scarf. Let's give him a trendy, what do you think, green? Let's do like kind of like an evergreen. We'll just go with that. Perfect. I like it. Looks good. Once again, I just dragged it over after I traced it. Now I'm going to do a brown for the branch. I'm going to go with like kind of a dark brown. And I'm going to raise the brush size up to about a 69, 70. And I'm just going to freehand this. I'm not going to trace over the lines and fill it. It's not much of an area to cover, so I'm just going in with my own two hands and just filling it in that way. If that makes sense. Own two hands. Own hand. I'm not using two hands to draw. That'd be kind of strange. For the pipe, I'm just going to give it kind of a lightish tan on the outside, and the inside's going to be much darker. Just took it down a notch. All right, and there is our snowman. What I want to do now is actually add some elements to the background. So above layer 3, you can see I added layer 7. And I'm just going to go over and trace it. You can see how sloppy that is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go to my brush tool. I'm going to hold down on the screen, and that's going to give me the same color as the sky. And I'm going to darken it a little bit. I'm going to go back to brushes. And let's go with the water brush down here for this. I think this is going to be really cool. I'm going to have this on 100% and the opacity on about 75. And on the top, I'm just going to go over and add some fluffy clouds in the background. Perfect. And below that, I'm going to put this on some yellow and go on the real light yellow and just on the background here, very lightly in the background. You can see on the bottom, add a few yellow elements to that. And then back to the blue. I'm going to give it some highlights. I'm going to go with a lighter blue there. I'm going to lower the brush size down to about a 60, somewhere in that angle, and just go underneath the clouds, add a couple of bright highlights. You see that? Kind of faint, but they are in there. Perfect. All right, we're going to go with that for now. And now, above layer 4, add a new layer. Unselect the S tool, then select it again, and we're going to go in and add some snowy elements to the ground here. So I'm going to hold down on the snow to get the color, and I'm going to darken it up. I'm going to go back to brushes and go with the round brush this time, and put this at about 25, I think is good. And just in the middle, I'm actually going to raise that up a little bit to 55. I'm going to add just some darker, not highlights, but darker shadows to the front a little bit, and a little bit on the side over here. Again, just to kind of give it some depth, and a little bit on that side. And just lightly press down on the screen on this, not too hard. In some areas you can press down a little bit harder, like on the corner over here, and on this side. And then I'm going to take it up all the way to kind of a whitish for the background here, just kind of, really kind of white. Perfect. We're going to leave that at that. Now for the snowman himself, I'm going to go to layer 5, hit the plus sign, and that's going to add a new layer, which is layer 9. Once again, I'm going to hit the S tool, and I'm going to go over this guy. And again, don't worry about tracing over like on top of the scarf and all that, because those layers are above this layer. So any kind of coloring I do below those layers won't matter. And you'll get the hang of this once you get Procreate. If you don't have it already, you'll have to play around a little bit, and it takes practice, but you will catch on quickly, trust me. It does not take that much time. It's really not bad. All right, I got the snowman highlighted. Excuse my voice. I got like a crackly kind of voice going on today. I think it's either because it's early in the morning kind of, or it's I had a lot of coffee. I'm not sure. My throat's a little sore today. All right, as you see, I'm going to add some kind of grayish shadows on the right side of the snowman here. I'm not pressing down too hard, just a little bit. Toward this little, where the lower body hits the midsection, I'm going to darken that up a little. And I'm going to lower the brush size down to 33 on this part in here, and just add a little shadowy effect for all that. And in here too, and you can add a few like in the middle, just don't press down hard, just to give it, again, some depth and added elements to it. It kind of looks dirtyish, kind of like dirty snow, but it's really not. It's clean snow. Because sometimes snow can appear dirty. Nothing wrong with that. All right, we got that there. And then what I'm going to do is put this on pure white and go on the very edge and just add a few highlights on the top and on the other side of him. And again, I'm kind of pressing down hard on the very edge and then lightening up as I go in. Cool. Cool as in snowman cool. I like that. Next, I'm going to go to layer 6 because the snowman part is done. Add a new layer above that. I'm going to zoom in on the carrot and take it down a notch with the color, make it darker. And again, I'm still on the round tool, the round brush for all this. I'm going to lower this down quite a bit to, what am I, 5%? That might be good because it's a very small area. So we're just going to add some shadowy elements to the bottom here. And again, there's a couple of dots in there that I missed from the get-go. I'm going to color that in. And then on the very top, I'm going to give it a lighter look, just to indicate that the light source is in front of the snowman and above a little bit. Now on that same layer, I'm going to work on this pipe. I'm going to darken up a couple edges here. I have honestly no clue what a pipe kind of looks like with a snowman typically. Again, as a kid, I never used a pipe for a snowman because we didn't have any pipes lying around. But as you can see, I just added some dark in the midsection here, in the middle, where the pipe dips down. There we go. With the scarf now too, I'm going to give it a shadowy effect kind of here. I haven't changed the brush size at all. And we're going to add a few elements on the side over here, Perfect. I like it. And same thing with the branches. I'm going to add just a couple of highlights on the top. Nothing too crazy. And then over here. And I'll give it just a couple shadows on the bottom. And there we go. So, I think that's cool. What I'm going to do next, actually, you can add some snowy elements to it. I'm going to, above all these other layers, I'm going to put this on blue and kind of have a light bluey effect. Snowy effect. And I'm going to go to the water brush again, and I'm going to lower this down to about a 35 and just try this out. Let me see. I'm going to raise the opacity up to 91. And I don't know if you heard that. That was my daughter in the background. She's wanting to come in and see what I'm up to. Anyway, I'm just going to have some light snow. Nothing too crazy with this. Just some light snowflakes all around. Nothing, because I kind of want the visual to appear more than anything else. So I think that's good. And what I'm going to do next is go back to the inking technical pen. I'm going to put that down on pure black. Put this on a size 25. And I am going to sign this bad boy. And there you have it, folks. That is your seasonal snowman. Perfect for this time of year, I would say. And again, it's using Procreate. The app I think is best that a lot of professionals use these days. And I was just using, I hope you may have to go through the video again and pause in a few parts to see the different brushes I was using and the sizes and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, guys, don't forget, I have a free cartooning course also available at cartooningcourses.com. And I'll have the link to that on this video too. Be sure to sign up for my free cartooning course. I go into writing, I go into some illustration and drawing examples and tips, and also a little bit on marketing too. So be sure to check that out, and be sure to stay nice and warm, and I'll see you next time.